It was supposed to be a simple errand, just a quick trip to the neighborhood grocery store on a calm Saturday afternoon. Marcus Hayes, a 45-year-old black police commander, stepped inside the store in casual clothes, known for his dedication to bridging the gap between police and community. Marcus carried himself with quiet confidence and a calm, steady gaze. But what should have been an ordinary shopping trip soon spiraled into a storm of tension and confrontation, all because of a woman known as Karen, a vocal member of the local homeowners association, and her entitled son Tyler. What happened that day would expose deep wounds in the community, wounds caused by unchecked racism, privilege, and ignorance, and it all started with a simple grocery line. Karen, a 52-year-old white woman, was the kind of HOA member who always had something to say, usually loud, always complaining. She prided herself on keeping the neighborhood safe and orderly, but many neighbors quietly whispered about her passive-aggressive behavior and thinly veiled hostility toward black residents. Her son, Tyler, 25, was cut from the same cloth, raised with a sense of entitlement and privilege that blinded him to his own bias. Earlier that afternoon, Tyler stormed into the grocery store, clearly agitated. He pushed his way past customers, cutting the line, demanding his groceries be rushed. "I don't have all day," he barked at the cashier, who was calmly doing their job. Customers watching shook their heads as Tyler openly complained about those people slowing things down. The racial undertones were obvious but unspoken, his words dripping with disdain. When Marcus arrived, the checkout line was busy, but everyone was patiently waiting their turn, including Marcus. Tyler's eyes locked onto Marcus as he stepped forward. Suddenly, the entitled young man's patience snapped. "I don't care who you are. Move aside," Tyler snarled. Marcus, ever the professional, replied calmly. "Sir, we all have to wait our turn," Tyler scoffed loudly. "You think you can tell me what to do?" The tension in the air thickened. Other customers began to notice, pulling out phones, sensing something bigger was unfolding. Tyler continued, his voice rising. "I don't have time for this. I demand you move." Marcus stood his ground, maintaining his composure despite the hostility. "I am just asking for fairness," Marcus said quietly. Tyler's mother, Karen, was at home, pacing anxiously, receiving a frantic call from Tyler. "Emma, this guy won't let me through the line. He's threatening me." Karen's response was swift and predictable. "Call the police," she said, her voice sharp. "We can't let people like that get away with this." The irony of her words would soon become painfully clear. Within minutes, police officers arrived at the store. The tension was palpable as Karen explained the situation, portraying herself and her son as victims of a threatening black man. But when officers recognized Marcus, their demeanor shifted. This wasn't just any customer. Marcus Hayes was the precinct's police commander, the very person responsible for maintaining order and trust in the community. The officers quickly diffused the situation, questioning Tyler and Karen. But Karen, refusing to accept the embarrassment, tried to spin the story, painting Marcus as aggressive and hostile. Meanwhile, several customers had posted videos of the encounter online. If you believe in standing up against racial injustice and entitlement, hit the like button now and share this story. Together, we can shine a light on the everyday racism that still persists, even in our own neighborhoods. As the story went viral, neighbors who had long remained silent began speaking out. Stories poured in about similar incidents, quiet exclusions, sideways glances, coded language that made many black residents feel unsafe in their own homes. Marcus, despite the support, felt the weight of it all. In a rare interview, he said, "I've dedicated my life to making this community better, to building trust between police and residents. To have someone I live near see me as a threat that hurts deep Many in the community rallied behind Marcus, calling for the HOA to address the toxic behavior. The HOA board reluctantly announced an investigation into Karen and Tyler's conduct, but the fight was far from over. Karen and Tyler were not ready to admit wrongdoing. Karen began gathering support from other HOA members, portraying herself as a victim protecting her family. Tyler's social media posts became increasingly hostile, filled with racial undertones and veiled threats. Marcus started receiving anonymous calls, late-night messages warning him to stay in his place. His car was vandalized with racist graffiti. "Go back where you came from," spray painted across the windshield. Marcus's wife, Aisha, worried about their children's safety, she pleaded with Marcus to be cautious. "This isn't just about work anymore," she said softly. "It's our home." But Marcus refused to back down. "This is bigger than me," he said. "This is about every black family that's ever been made to feel unwelcome." His resolve inspired many, but the personal toll was heavy. This isn't just a story about a Karen or her entitled son. It's a story about the insidious power of racism and entitlement, how privilege blinds people to the humanity of others. It's a reminder that no matter your status or position, respect and dignity should never be taken for granted. And it teaches us that racism, when allowed to fester, damages entire communities. True progress requires courage to confront uncomfortable truths even when they hit close to home. But the story doesn't end here. As the HOA investigation unfolds, Marcus uncovers a disturbing web of secrets, including connections between Karen, powerful local officials, and a history of cover-ups. What else will come to light? Will justice prevail, or will the system protect the privileged? The last thing Marcus Hayes expected after the hateful graffiti on his car was what he uncovered next. The vandalism was just the beginning. The neighborhood he thought he knew was hiding dark, twisted secrets that would make the fight against Karen and her son Tyler much more dangerous than anyone imagined. When the HOA finally launched their investigation into Karen and Tyler, Marcus didn't trust that it would be honest, so he decided to dig deeper himself. One evening, he received a cryptic call from a concerned HOA member, someone who'd been quietly watching Karen's actions for years. "Marcus," the voice whispered, "if you want the truth, check the HOA's financial records. There's more going on than you realize." Marcus wasted no time. He began pulling public records, HOA contracts, and financial disclosures. What he found was shocking. Karen's distant cousin owned a small contracting company. On paper, the company was supposed to handle community improvement projects like landscaping and road maintenance, but the payments were suspiciously large, and the projects were either incomplete or wildly overpriced. Marcus found dozens of invoices and payment records that didn't add up. Neighbors who dared complain about shoddy work or unfair treatment found themselves targeted with fines or eviction threats from the HOA. It was clear Karen's family wasn't just policing the neighborhood, they were controlling it for profit. The more Marcus dug, the darker the picture became. He uncovered a series of emails and meeting minutes revealing that Karen had been quietly working with a powerful city council member, someone deeply connected to the HOA's leadership. Together, they had systematically blocked affordable housing developments meant to bring more diversity to the neighborhood. These plans, if approved, would have allowed minority families and working-class residents to buy homes, changing the neighborhood's demographics for the better. But Karen and her allies had stopped it, claiming it would lower property values and bring crime. Marcus's blood ran cold when he saw the name of the council member involved. It was Tyler's godfather, a man with a long record of voting against racial equity policies. The revelation flipped everything on its head. What started as a fight against one racist woman and her entitled son was actually a battle against a corrupt system designed to keep power in the hands of a few and exclude everyone else. The deeper Marcus went, the more dangerous it became. He started receiving threatening calls late at night. Unknown numbers left chilling messages. "Back off, or you'll regret it." One night, Marcus came home to find his car vandalized, hateful word spray painted across the windshield. His wife, Arshaw, begged him to reconsider. "This isn't just about the neighborhood anymore," she said softly. "It's about your safety, our family's safety." But Marcus was undeterred. "This fight is bigger than me or my family," he told her. "If we don't stand up now, who will?" As the news spread, the neighborhood was torn apart. Some residents rallied behind Marcus, inspired by his courage and calling for change. They organized meetings, petitions, and peaceful protests outside HOA offices. But Karen and her supporters pushed back hard. They launched a social media campaign painting Marcus as a troublemaker and threatening lawsuits against anyone who spoke out. The HOA meetings became battlegrounds with shouting matches and accusations flying. The division cut deep. Friends and neighbors turned on each other. Just when Marcus thought he was gaining ground, a bombshell dropped. A trusted HOA board member secretly contacted Marcus with a warning. "There's something you need to know," she said nervously. "Karen and her family aren't acting alone. They have allies, powerful ones in city government and local law enforcement." She handed Marcus a folder filled with documents, copies of covered agreements, payoffs, and disturbing correspondence. Marcus realized the fight wasn't just about local HOA politics, it was about dismantling a network of influence that had quietly kept black residents and minorities out for decades. The stakes skyrocketed. One night, Marcus returned home to find his front door forced open. His home was ransacked, but curiously, the documents he had been using as evidence were untouched. Who broke in? And why did they leave those papers alone? Marcus couldn't shake the feeling he was being watched, that the next move could come from anywhere. Marcus knew this was no longer just a neighborhood dispute. This was a war for justice, truth, and the soul of the community. With every step forward, the danger grew, but so did the support from those tired of the lies and oppression. Marcus was ready to risk everything to expose the truth, but he knew the road ahead was long and full of unknown dangers. The battle lines are drawn. Marcus knows the fight for justice will be long and dangerous, but with the community watching and the truth on his side, he's ready to expose the entire corrupt system no matter the cost. Stay tuned for part 2. If you believe in fighting for justice and standing against racism, subscribe now and hit the notification bell. Share this story to spread awareness, and tell us in the comments what should Marcus do next to protect his family and community.